So principles. Again, I said the real legacy that lasts for thousands of years is principles. And so I wanted to say, people are not going to remember your lavish house. People are not going to remember your fancy car. That's your lifestyle that you live here on the earth. But the principle, that's why Mother Teresa's name will be around for thousands of years to come. The principle of what she did. She stood for a principle called giving. She gave herself over to it, and it was not taught. Matter of fact, it was more work and strength in the principle that's what left the legacy. So if you strike it like the king was asked by Elijah to strike the arrows, and guess what happened? He struck him only 3 times. He said, you will not utterly defeat your enemy. But if you strike on the principle, like Mother Teresa went in with a violent face, with the force of faith, motivated that worketh by the love of God, God's genuine. And that principle, though she died with only 3 dresses and 1 mat, billions channeled. She didn't get caught with none of it, didn't want none of it. Principle. She shared that thing, all that money to strengthen their brother. But look what she left. That's the high call. But if you want to settle for what you have, if you think that they're going to remember your fancy house, if you think they're going to remember your jet, if that's what you think that they going to remember, they not going to remember none of that, pastors. They going to remember how much you gave and left for your people that followed you. That's what they're going to do. And we know that the word is eternal, so the word don't come back bound. So you know you're going to get a reward on the word when you get to heaven. However, I'm talking about doing certain parts of the word concerning giving and what our culture respects. Leaving a legacy on a principle, whether it be faith, but more importantly on giving, shake nations. You stepping into the ancient, those people gave their lives. The apostles, Jesus the Father sold his son. See, now we're talking about life. But if you can't give to a person and discern a situation that a person's about to get thrown out their house, or a person might be hungry, you lack exercising your gift of giving. So you got to exercise it. And you won't be able to lay down your life because it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. Based on the principle of that, you won't have the strength to do it. You won't have the strength to, when you are being stoned, like Stephen, to say, principle, I forgive you by the Spirit's power, because we didn't practice it. Stephen was working miracles, serving tables. It means he's practicing loving kindness. He's serving widows. And the more you give and serve widows and poor people, the deeper your heart. The more you strengthen with your money, you do it, the more Christ is going to come out. The more that principle is going to come out. And like Mother Teresa had a nation-shaking anointing and wasn't a Pentecost or a charismatic or a bishop or an apostle or a teacher or an evangelist or a pastor. She shook nations because she went all in on a principle. So the shortness in my hoods is not by the power of God. It is in the principle is the key to your city and your community and your nation and your state. And if you don't want to work it, God understands. He understands. And no beef from me. But don't say I didn't tell you what the key to the city was. It's in the principle of giving and the force of faith and creating ways to reach out and meet people where they are, where they're hurting, when most people are hurting financially. Only 1% is not. God bless you. The harvest is plentiful, but the labors are few. Project Restoration, Jeremiah 23 in hoods. This is why we run this marathon, not by power, not by might, but by the Spirit of God. It's going to get done anyway. Rest in God.